Now, human remains have been found at a construction site in Thembisa, I understand. Contractors working at one of the retailers that were affected by the 2021 July unrest. Oh, this is when the gruesome discovery was made. It's believed the body could be one of the victims of the riots, as some families are still missing their loved ones. Well, construction had to be put on hold to allow for a thorough search of the area. There for us, reporter Heidi Giokos on that for us. Let's go over to her now and see where we stand on all of this. And Heidi, just outside the gates, and I think many people would recognize the area that you're standing in. Just bring me up to speed. Where are we on this story? We might need some context.
Yes, so let me provide you with some context to what's going on here. So in July 2021, when the unrest took place, Thembisa, of course, was one of the hardest that were hit in terms of the looting that took place. This is Thembisa Plaza, and we do know that during the unrest and whatever else was taking place here, a gas cylinder exploded in the ShopRite store and a fire obviously broke out. There were people inside that ShopRite store and unfortunately got trapped inside and were unable to get out. They tragically lost their lives. Fast forward to a year and a half later, you have families that have absolutely no closure. They have no remains of their loved ones because the bodies and the remains of their families and loved ones are still trapped inside that ShopRite store. We highlighted this story last year in July, when we got to speak to some family members who say that they cannot bury their loved ones, they do not know what's happened. It was a year on then already, and still they were unable to access the ShopRite because we've been told time and time again that there are infrastructure challenges and the building is at risk of collapsing. But I want to bring in Melina Rodriguez. She tragically lost her mother. I just want to thank you once again for speaking to us because I know this is very difficult, but this story is coming out to the surface again because we can possibly see pathologists there. We're seeing police. They are trying to get through that shop so that they can see what is actually going on. How does this make you feel? It's a year and a half on, you've lost your mother, you have no answers.
I feel very sad because it's nearly 2 years now and we haven't found my mother. We had to go to Mozambique last year in December just to do a ceremony for my mother because we haven't found her remains, and that's very sad for us. And the police haven't done anything, so it's very heartbreaking.
Do you believe that your mother is inside that ShopRite?
Yeah, I do believe she is there, inside there, because she hasn't came back home ever since. I know.
I want to ask you about how difficult this is all for you, especially because it's a year and a half on, moving into 2 years. You haven't really received much communication from government, and now you're seeing some action here. This can't be easy for you.
It's not easy. It's not, because we were supposed to have buried my mother a long time ago, but since she has been inside there and no one cared to at least do something, even the police to update us, nothing.
So the police haven't called you to say
No. We didn't know that this was happening today. The police didn't even inform us.
Maybe just tell us about how difficult it is for you moving forward. You did mention that you had to go to Mozambique last year and have some kind of burial for your mother without her remains. That must be really hard for you, and I'm sure you have a lot of anger towards officials because they've waited so long for this to conclude and to give you the closure that you need.
Exactly, because now it's 2 years without her body, and it is just insane for the authorities to just throw their hands on us and do absolutely nothing about it, because it is a human being that's in there, a mother.
Have you had any message for authorities? And I know it's not easy for you, but maybe just tell us if you had a message for them to understand the pain that you and your family are going through. What do you want them to do? You want them to speed up the process? What are you hoping they do?
All I'm hoping is that we get our mother and we have a proper burial for her. And I really hope that this speeds up that process, as we are going so much right now. And because it is just too much. Closed wounds are being opened.
I understand. Thank you so much for speaking to us. I really do appreciate it. I know it's not easy, and one can only imagine how traumatic it is, Gareth, to be standing outside here and having no idea what's going on, because authorities have failed to communicate with families and loved ones who are grieving, who are trying to find closure, who just want the remains of their loved ones so that they can close this chapter and truly understand what's going on. Just to bring you some other context to this particular matter, we've reached out to the police and we've asked them for comments on this, but they have not been able to give us anything at this stage. We've been told we must wait for an incident report. I don't understand what incident report we are waiting for, because over 13 families have come and said that their loved ones are inside here, and we know that some bodies were retrieved, but between 6 to 8 bodies still remain inside here. And as you heard Melina Rodriguez saying, that, you know, closed wounds are being reopened because they've waited so long for something to be done about this. We've been seeing vehicles coming in and out all day. We have been denied access inside. We understand that there are structural risks here, but nobody's trying to get into the actual ShopRite. We just want to be standing outside so that we can assess what's going on and get comment from police and authorities. But to no avail, we've been denied access, and we just keep seeing vehicles in and out. And I'm not entirely sure, but from where I'm standing and my point of view, it seems as though there might be pathologists inside.
We were also trying to see what the branding is on that SAPS vehicle, Heidi. Very, very brave of your guest to join you, standing just a few meters away from where she suspects the remains of her mom are. And I hope the authorities are watching. If the authorities are watching, you know where Heidi Giokos is. Get her on the line, go through, go speak to her, at least have the decency to go to where the victims' families are standing and just try and give them some answers. You know where we are. You know where Heidi is. You know that she'll talk to you. Heidi Giokos, hopefully we'll come back to you later. Maybe there's somebody in authority that's willing to talk to you. eNCA reporter Heidi Giokos.